So Zeev, it sounds like you know the answer? Yeah? What are isotopes? Different versions of the same element. And they have different numbers of neutrons. And that gives them different what? Yeah, it gives them different mass numbers. Yeah. How would you write the name of an isotope? Say I wanted to know chlorine with a mass of 37. So try that one. See if you can write the name and the symbol for chlorine with a mass of 37. Oh, actually, you don't have to find the neutrons to do this. You're writing the name of it and you're writing its symbol. So how do we write chlorine with a mass of 37? We write chlorine dash 37. And if you are asked to name an isotope, you must give the mass number, you must write dash and mass number. Okay, so if you're asked for the name of an isotope, you have to write the dash and then the mass number. Now, how would we write the symbol for chlorine 37? Cl, yes, 37, 17, and that's it because we are told it's chlorine, not chloride. Which brings us to, oh, up here, hang on. What happens to the names of anions? Names end in ide, IDE. What if you had nitrogen? How do you make that into an anion name? Nitrogen. First syllable and then ide. So nitrogen becomes nitride. Well, if you prefer, you can say that the ion name has to have 2 syllables. Okay. However, you can remember it best. And in fact, Niide would sound really weird, right? Niide does not work. All right, what else is on here that I need you to know? Oh, why do ions form? Electrons want to be in a more stable state, yes, and you said after that? Pardon me? Yeah, that filled outer shell. The electrons want, I'll put want in quotes because of course electrons don't have feelings, they don't have desires, okay, but they want to be in a more stable state. And that stable state is a filled or emptied outer shell. There's going to be Bohr models on the quiz. What is the first shell is a full shell. Number 1 is how many electrons? 2. Full shell number 2 is how many electrons? 8. And full shell number 3 is 8 electrons. What 2 extra things do you need? What 2 extra things do you need for the Bohr model of an ion? You need the square brackets. Yep. Okay. And if anyone is like really wanting a copy of this and you haven't managed to get it all, I can print it out for you, okay? And I can do that before the end of class today, so you can take it home with you and have the whole thing, okay? Pardon me? It will be on Teams, but I'll also like print out a physical copy because I know a lot of people want like, you know, physical copy is kind of nice. Okay, let's see, is there anything else on there? I think that's mostly it. That's pretty much, that's a lot, right? But you've been doing a bunch of practice. How are you guys feeling at this point? Are you feeling like thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle? Yes. Will you get a practice quiz? No, but there's lots of practice in the book. So I'm gonna, like today, the rest of the class is going to be like just, you know, working on practice stuff in the book. So yeah, okay. Yes. So before we do that, I would like to just go over with you one little pattern thing. I think it is here. Let me see. Nope, not that one. Page 96. Page 96. So I wanted you to take notice here of the valence electrons. Remind me, what are valence electrons? Tell your partner, what are valence electrons? Valence electrons. They are electrons where? In the outer shell. Okay, so there are electrons in the outer shell. The other word we can use for outer shell is valence shell. Let's take a look at group number 1. I want you to take a look at all of the atoms in group number 1. Take a look at their valence shell. What do they all have in common? They all have 1 in the outermost shell. There's all 1 valence electron. Yes? You got 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, etc. All the way down, 1 there, 1 there. What about, and what is, tell your partner, what is the name of group 1? Those are the alkali metals. Yes, alkali metals. So what are our alkali metals going to do when they form an ion? Are they going to gain electrons or lose electrons? They're all going to lose electrons. How many? They're all going to lose 1 electron. Sorry? Yeah, it can lose an electron and then it is just a proton. And in fact, in grade 12, we call a hydrogen an H plus ion, we call it a proton, because that's all that's left. Yeah. Okay. So all of these groups lose 1 electron and they form a +1 ion. It would just be plus. We wouldn't write the +1. We would just write plus, but I'm going to write the number there just so we're clear. Okay. Group 2. Those are the alkaline earth. Metals. What do they all have in common? They have 2 valence electrons. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So what are they going to become when they become an ion? What are they going to all of them do? They're all going to lose electrons. And how many will they lose? they're all going to lose 2 electrons. And what charge do they become if they lose 2 electrons? They become +2 ions, or 2 plus ions if you prefer. This is going to become really, really useful in not the next unit, but the one right after it, because you're going to need to know what the charge of ions are. So if you're in group 1 and you're an ion, what is your charge? You're in group 1. You have 1 valence electron, so you lose that 1 valence electron, so you become positive, just +1. If you are in group 2, if I say, what is the charge of a calcium ion? You can say calcium is in group 2. It has 2 valence electrons, which it is going to lose, and it becomes 2 positive. So group 1 ions are always +1. Group 2 ions are always +2. And then what about group 13? We've skipped a whole bunch, but we've gone over to group 13. How many valence electrons in group 13? 3. 1, 2, 3 valence electrons. And so they will tend to lose 3 electrons. And if you lose 3 electrons, what charge do you become? +3, or 3 plus if you prefer. It's really nice if you can remember these patterns, because it allows you to do a lot of predicting. What do we know about elements in group 14? We can't do them. They don't tend to form ions. They do something else with their electrons. They don't gain, they don't lose, they share, but you don't need to really know that yet. We'll do that in the next unit, okay? Now, nitrogen, if you look at nitrogen, is it closer to full or is it closer to empty? Closer to full. So we have 1 gap, 2 gaps, 3 gaps. We're going to have an electron come in here, here, and here. So these guys are going to do what? They are going to gain how many electrons? They're going to gain 3 electrons. How many electrons are in their valence shell normally? Yeah, and F group 15 has 5 valence electrons. How many valence electrons does group 13 have? 3 valence electrons. How many valence electrons does group 16 have? 6. Can I just write VE for valence electrons? Group 17 has 7 valence electrons. And then group 8 just has a full outer shell. So helium has 2, neon has 8, argon has 8, etc. So group 15 is always going to gain 3 electrons. And the ions will form with a, if you gain electrons, what does your charge become? Negative, so it's going to become 3 minus. Elements in group 16, let's take a look. How many empty spots are there in group 16? 2 empty spots, yeah? In all of them, there's 2 empty spots, 2 empty spots. You can spell sulfur with a PH or with an F, either way is okay. Okay. And so how many electrons would they gain? Gain 2 electrons to form ions with a 2 minus charge. How many holes are there in group 17? 1 hole. So they're going to gain 1 electron, and that's going to form ions with a negative charge, or 1 minus. Okay. So in terms of practice, let's see, we've done 105 to 107. We've now done 108. Have we done 108? No, we could do 108. So for practice, oh yeah, 108, we did 108, okay. 108, 111. Yeah, so you could do 112 through 117. If you're not finished, '92 to '95, 105 to 111, do those first. Okay. And if you're finished all of that and you're feeling pretty good about it, I might be able to find you a practice quiz. Okay? A practice quiz. Okay, if you're done all of that. Is there anyone who does not want a physical copy of all of this? Anyone who does not want a physical copy? You're good? Okay. You don't? Okay. So we have then 26. Okay. Yeah? Okay. Adobe.